The top stories tonight in Y News. A group comprising primarily retired officers of the armed forces of the Philippines denies any involvement in the alleged destabilization plot to overthrow the government or the Marcos administration.
The House of Representatives creates a new cybersecurity committee to bolster its defenses against cyber threats.
Vice President Sara Duterte decides to drop the proposed confidential funds for her office and the Department of Education, which she concurrently heads.
And United States Secretary of State Anthony Blinken warns Israel against reoccupying Gaza after the war with Hamas ends.
Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Thursday, November 9, 2023. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. I am Joselito Liquido.
We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media channels. I am Marvi Delfin.
First in the news, a group comprising primarily of retired officers of the Armed Forces of the Philippines has come forward to deny allegations of involvement in a destabilization plot against the current administration of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. Dante Amento details why.
The September 21 movement or Storm strongly denied any involvement in an alleged destabilization plot to overthrow the government of the Marcos administration. Storm is a group, some members of whom are retired officers of the Armed Forces of the Philippines or AFP.
Kahit kami rito, hindi kami magkakakilalang personal eh. Kahit yung mga PMers dito, nalalaman yung mga pangalan, pero personally, hindi namin kilala ang isa't isa. So mahirap kami mag-plot ng anything against the government.
The group explained their goal is to promote transparency and accuracy for the conduct of the next elections.
Well, actually, ang gusto naming ma-recruit yung taong bayan na maging conscious, ma-enlightened, na kailangang pangalagaan natin ang ating mga boto.
The leaders of the group stressed they are even supportive of the incumbent government officials.
Lahat naka-open na suportahan na lang natin kung sino nakaupo. Because this is for the good of the country.
Retired Brigadier General and former DICT Acting Secretary Eliseo Rio, meanwhile, believes the Marcos government is destabilizing itself.
Sila, Marcos versus Duterte. Sila nagdi-destabilize ng sarili nila. Gusto nila matanggal si Marcos para si Sara. As simple as that.
Dante Amento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The House of Representatives has taken proactive measures to safeguard its digital domain. In response to the ever-growing threat of cyber attacks, a new cybersecurity committee has been established to ensure the safety and security of their website in this age of increasing digital vulnerabilities. Meanwhile, House Secretary General Reginald Velasco has suggested that the recent attack on the House's website might be an inside job. Rosalie Cos will tell us why.
Following the online attack against the website of the House of Representatives last month, the August Chamber formed a cybersecurity committee with the formidable task of ensuring the safety and security of its website. The committee is chaired by House Secretary General Reginald Velasco.
Ang goal namin is to have our own cybersecurity unit. Kaysa aasa lang kami sa DICT or sa anti-cybersecurity, we must have our own capability to ward off any of this hacking or any other cyber security crimes.
Recognizing the severity of the threat landscape, there are discussions about enlisting the expertise of a third-party firm to further bolster their cybersecurity protocols. As part of sweeping network security improvements, the House of Representatives has also implemented a stringent computer shutdown policy. House employees are now directed to power down and unplug computers, printers, scanners, and other electronic equipment in their offices after office hours and during weekends. Meanwhile, Secretary General Velasco reveals a concerning possibility that the October attack on the House website might be an inside job. The breach occurred through the hacking of a website administrator's email or cell phone.
One of the suspicions was an inside job, no? In other words, yun nga, na-hack yung email or cellphone ng one of the administrators.
Thankfully, sensitive data remains secure, but the House online presence fell victim to defacement in the October attack. Rosa Licoz, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Vice President Sara Duterte has dropped the proposed confidential funds for her office and the Department of Education, which she concurrently heads. In today's Senate budget deliberations, Senators Sani Angara and Pia Cayetano read the official statements of the Vice President, saying that she will no longer pursue the secret funds amounting to 650 million pesos.
Nakikita natin na talagang may tendency magkawatak-watak o magiging divisive itong issue na ito. At dahil dito, ang naniniwala ang ating Vice Presidente na siya ay nanumpa, no, na panitiliing mapayapa at matatag ang bansang Pilipinas. Kaya hindi na po niya ipursue ang proposal for confidential funds.
For the Education Department, VP Duterte has requested the Senate to realign the proposed 150 million peso confidential funds for the DepEd to the National Learning Recovery Program.
Will no longer pursue confidential funds. We humbly request that the funds be realigned to the National Learning Recovery Program because we do not expect good scores for the 2022 PISA results coming out this December.
Senate Minority Leader Aquilino Coco Pimentel, for his part, commends the Vice President for giving up the proposed confidential funds.
I commend her, Mr. President, for now categorically stating to this House that it's not a deferral to our wisdom. She does not want it anymore, Mr. President.
As the country observes the National Rice Awareness Month, the Department of Agriculture is sending out a crucial message to consumers. Let's be mindful of rice wastage and buy locally produced rice to help the farmers boost their income. In tandem with this effort, a research group is adding its voice to the cause, advocating for the passage of a bill aimed at preventing rice wastage. Nel Maribohok will tell us why.
The battle against rice wastage is gaining momentum as the Philippine Rice Research Institute, or PhilRice, looks to breathe new life into the proposed anti-rice wastage bill, also known as the Half-Cup Rice Bill. This initiative, initially championed by President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. during his time in the Senate, carries a significant aim to curb rice wastage in eateries, hotels, and restaurants. The proposed legislation suggests fines for establishments refusing to serve less than 1 cup of rice. PhilRice officials emphasize that this measure seeks to address the staggering issue of food wastage, particularly among those who often take more than they can consume.
We'll try to revive that and to have another Senate bill siguro para sa yung half cup of rice. Kasi ang lagi din nilang sinasabi, mas maganda kung national yung law.
Create greater awareness about the need to avoid wastage on rice and only get what you want.
According to PhilRice, Filipinos waste 7 billion pesos worth of rice that can feed 2.5 million each year. Care, a carinderia owner, has agreed to the proposal of serving half cup of rice to customers.
Okay po mag-serve ng half rice kasi minsan yung ibang tao sinasayang na yung pagkain, tsaka yung iba nga yung isang rice lang hindi na mauubos.
Michael Anyong, a frequent customer of carinderias, sees the proposal as a practical solution to prevent rice wastage.
Pag half price po kasi, minsan nakakatipid po kami na buyer at the same time po kami as customer hindi po masasayang yung mga pagkain na isi-serve po. Kasi minsan pag dalawang rice, sumusobra po pag kumakain kami.
The country celebrates every November the National Rice Awareness Month as mandated by Presidential Proclamation number 524 signed on January 5, 2004. Aim at heightening public awareness on initiatives to attain rice self-sufficiency while addressing malnutrition and poverty. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue, we serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Philippine National Police has taken swift action in the case of Juan Humalon, also known as DJ Johnny Walker, who was fatally shot in Calamba, Misamis Occidental. The PNP Public Information Office Acting Chief Philippine Police Colonel Jean Fajardo announced that murder and theft charges have been filed against the suspects. These charges have been brought before the Misamis Occidental Prosecutor's Office. Authorities have indicated that a land dispute concerning the property where Humalon built his home is among the angles being investigated by authorities.
Kasama po yan, ma'am, sa iniimbestigahan po dahil I understand po yung mismong kinatitirikan po nung bahay po nung ating biktima na nandun din po yung kanyang doon din niya sinasagawa yung kanyang program sa sarili po niyang station ay nagkaroon po ng litigation yan at nagkaroon po ng kaso yan. Isa po yan sa tinitingnan natin, although we are not discounting other angles po regarding dito po sa kaso na ito.
To aid in the investigation, the PNP released a computerized facial composite of one of the two lookouts based on the description provided by two witnesses. The suspect is described as around 5'5" to 5'6" tall, approximately 40 years old, with medium build and brown complexion. During the incident, the suspect was reported to be wearing a red hat, a green shirt, and black short pants.
And for the news abroad, United States Secretary of State Anthony Blinken has issued a warning to Israel against the reoccupation of Gaza in the aftermath of the conflict with Hamas. Secretary Blinken emphasized the potential risks of repeated attacks if Hamas continues its rule. RK Yorka will tell us the details live. Yes, RK, good evening.
Good evening, Marvy. United States Secretary of State Anthony Blinken issued a warning to Israel against reoccupying Gaza after the conflict with Hamas concludes, stressing that Hamas should not continue its rule to avoid a repeat of attacks. Blinken outlined key post-conflict elements, opposing forced displacement, blockade, and territorial reduction. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu claimed Israel's overall security responsibility for Gaza without specifying long-term plans. Blinken's statements align with U.S. vision for a post-conflict Gaza, advocating for Palestinian-led governance and unification with the West Bank under the Palestinian Authority. The Group of Seven, or G7, supported humanitarian pauses but refrained from calling for a ceasefire. Mustafa Barghouti, Secretary General of the Palestinian National Initiative, or PNI, expressed skepticism about Netanyahu's intentions, emphasizing the need for a unified Palestinian leadership. On the ground, UN reported thousands fleeing northern Gaza due to Israeli operations in Gaza City, focusing on areas with Hamas Central Command and tunnels. Israel urged residents to move south, citing security concerns. The situation remains tense with ongoing strikes and civilian displacement. While the conflict persists, the international community grapples with the complexities of establishing sustainable peace in the region. The dynamics involve intricate political, security, and humanitarian considerations, with the U.S. actively engaging to shape the post-conflict landscape in line with its vision for a stable and secure Gaza. Back to you, Marvy.
Thank you, Arkeo Yorka, reporting live.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky maintains an optimistic outlook for his country's ability to achieve battlefield success before the end of the year and ultimately secure victory in the prolonged conflict with Russia. While acknowledging the slow progress of their counteroffensive in the occupied south, President Zelensky revealed a glimmer of hope, sharing that Ukraine has an undisclosed battlefield plan set in motion for the year 2024. Olga Chalyan will tell us why.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is projecting confidence amidst the ongoing conflict with Russia. He assures the nation that Ukraine will strive to deliver battlefield results before the end of the year, maintaining unwavering optimism about Kiev's ultimate victory in this protracted war. While acknowledging the slow progress of their counteroffensive in the occupied south, President Zelensky tantalizingly teased a battlefield plan for the following year, keeping the details close to the chest. However, the president's tone seems to diverge from that of his commander-in-chief, Valery Zaluzhny, who recently characterized the ongoing conflict as reaching a World War I type stalemate. Zaluzhny expressed concerns about the potential war of attrition, raising fears that such a scenario could play into Russia's hands. In a rare public dispute, President Zelensky rejected such a claim by Zaluzhny, bringing into focus a fear of political infighting amid calls for presidential elections in 2024. Zelensky, on the other hand, summoned his people not to drown in infighting, stressing the situation remains the same, thus suggesting no elections will be held next year. Amidst the complexities of the internal political landscape, Zelensky found a moment to highlight a diplomatic success on November 8. The European Commission recommended opening European Union accession negotiations with Ukraine, marking what he described as a successful day for the country. Paul Gatchalian, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Concerning news on the health front, as the Department of Health reports a staggering 300% increase in measles cases from January to October of this year. An infectious disease expert attributes this alarming rise to the low measles, mumps, rubella, or MMR vaccination rates in the country. Gladys Tawabi details why.
In the midst of the ongoing pandemic, the focus of controlling and containing COVID-19 has inadvertently impacted other areas of public health. One notable consequence is the low coverage of the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccination in the country.
Isa sa mga important factor niyan yung yung COVID-19 vaccination, no? Na lahat ng programa, lahat ng mga efforts natin ay nakatutok doon sa COVID-19 containment and control, no? So ibig sabihin, yung programa ng expanded program immunization sa mga bata medyo naiwan ng konti, no? But ang taas kasi nung gap, no, nung naiwan. And that's why nagpatupad ang Department of Health nung catch-up vaccination. That also includes MMR doon sa mga bata less than 2 years old kasi ito yung mga vulnerable population.
Because of this, a concerning increase of around 300% in measles cases from January to October of this year is expected.
I think this is expected kasi the past year, ang baba ng MMR vaccination natin, no, sa mga bata. Okay? And in fact, hindi tayo nakaabot doon sa 90% na kinakailangan, no?
According to Dr. Ronjin Solante, this surge is not entirely unexpected, recalling that the Philippines experienced measles outbreaks in 2018 and 2019 due to low vaccination coverage.
So it becomes a cycle now that pag mababa ang vaccination rate sa mga bata, tataas ang mga kaso, and this is now the result because of that low vaccination coverage that we have had for the past 2 to 3 years. No, so this is something that is expected, and hindi lang magiging measles ang pwedeng tataas, no, yung iba pang vaccine preventable diseases kagaya ng polio, no, pneumonia, including influenza or pertussis.
Highlighting the urgency of vaccination, Dr. Solante emphasized that measles doesn't follow a seasonal pattern, making immunization crucial, especially for the younger population. Vaccines against measles are effective, providing at least a 90 to 95% protection. In light of these developments, experts advise the public to isolate any family member experiencing measles to prevent further infections within the household. They also stress the importance of consulting a doctor to address potential complications arising from measles. Gladys Tuwabi, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The fire in 2 warehouses in Mekawayan, Bulacan rekindled this morning after other papers and plastic inside the storage were ignited once again. According to the Bureau of Fire Protection, many papers and plastics are still piled under the collapsed walls and fallen roofing. They say as long as these are not completely removed, it will continue to ignite. The investigation into the fire continues. Meanwhile, no employees were injured in the burned warehouses, and no nearby warehouses and houses were affected. The assistance provided by the Andrea Hotel and Resort and its firewall to the firefighters has been significant help for the Bureau of Fire Protection, allowing them to use water from the pool as a fire suppressant.
Doon po sa maraming papel, kasi doon sa school supplies puros papel po yan bulto-bulto po yan, kaya medyo talagang kinain po talaga na apoy at napahina po niya ang yung bubong natin at gayon din po yung mga pader kasi sobrang init po. Wala pa po sir, pasensya na po kasi kailangan pa ito na masusing investigasyon bago po kami makapag-release ng mga statement po.
A development from the Land Transportation Office, or LTO, is causing a stir as they announce limitations on issuing plastic cards for driver's licenses. The agency states that they will only be able to issue plastic cards to holders of driver's licenses that expired in June of this year, and those with licenses expiring in November will see an extension of validity until April 2024. This announcement comes in the wake of a writ of preliminary injunction from the court, effectively hampering the issuance of driver's license cards while the case is pending. LTO Chief Assistant Secretary Attorney Vigor Mendoza II highlighted the impact of this legal matter on their operations. The case in question was filed by All Card Incorporated against the LTO, the Department of Transportation, and the winning bidder for plastic card supply, Banner Plastic Card Incorporated.
The Department of Social Welfare and Development is already extending assistance to the grieving family of a radio broadcaster shot while on live streaming at his home. Juan Humalon, also known as DJ Johnny Walker, was killed at his home-based station in the town of Calamba, Misamis Occidental. Assistant Secretary Romel Lopez stated that at the media forum of DSWD today, Thursday, that they have also provided educational assistance for the 2 children who were bereaved by the said radio broadcaster. The Department of Social Welfare and Development is swiftly extending assistance to the grieving family of slain radio anchor Juan Humalon, alias DJ Johnny Walker, in Misamis Occidental. Assistant Secretary Romel Lopez, during the media forum of the DSWD on Thursday, November 9, expressed that they are not only offering support to the family but have also provided educational assistance for the 2 children who lost their parent in this tragic incident. Recognizing the need for sustained support, the family has been referred to the Department's Sustainable Livelihood Program, or SLP, for eligibility assessment. The Department of Social Welfare and Development's Field Office 10 in northern Mindanao provided the family with 20,000 pesos to assist with the victims' burial expenses, acknowledging the financial burden that often accompanies such heartbreaking circumstances. Additionally, Humalon's 2 children were each given 5,000 pesos to aid in their educational needs during this difficult time.
Ito po ay 20,000 pesos na financial aid maaaring magagamit sa kanyang burial at funeral assistance, at nagpaabot din po tayo ng initial na educational assistance para po sa mga naulila ni Mr. Humalon. 2 bata po ito na maaaring makatanggap ng initially 5,000 pesos, and then maaari din po yung inclusion ng kanilang pamilya doon sa Sustainable Livelihood Program.
United Nations Chief Antonio Guterres stated that it would be difficult to reinstate the Black Sea Initiative. The Black Sea Grain Initiative was implemented in July 2022 to assist Ukraine in exporting its products to other countries amid its conflict with Russia. However, just a year later, Russia withdrew from the agreement, complaining that its own food products and fertilizers exports faced challenges due to the sanctions imposed on the country. While Russia continues its food and fertilizer exports, it encounters restrictions in terms of payments, logistics, and insurance. Currently, Ukraine established a temporary export corridor in August to facilitate exports using alternative methods. Through this, Ukraine has successfully exported 700,000 metric tons of wheat. Meanwhile, within a year under the Black Sea Grain Deal, Ukraine managed to export approximately 33 million metric tons of wheat.
Ayola's Paraguay is grappling with severe flooding as heavy rains linked to the El Niño weather pattern forced hundreds into shelters. The town, located approximately 186 miles from the capital Asuncion, witnessed the Parana River overflow due to storms, submerging at least 5 neighborhoods. National Emergency Ministry estimates suggest that around 35,000 people across the country are affected, with local authorities reporting 3,700 displaced residents in Ayolas near the Argentine border. The situation is expected to worsen as weather experts predict additional storms over the weekend due to the El Niño effect. Eduardo Mingo, head of Paraguay's Meteorology Institute, confirmed the impact of El Niño, emphasizing its manifestation in the form of intense rains affecting the south-southeast region. The World Meteorological Organization, or WMO, has forecasted that El Niño will persist until at least April of 2024, contributing to the record-breaking warmth experienced globally this year.
There will be a conversation between United States President Joe Biden and Chinese President Xi Jinping at the upcoming APEC summit next week. This meeting aims to strengthen the robust relationship through a personal encounter for the second time in almost 3 years. While no significant breakthroughs are expected, experts see this meeting as a potential sign of progress. Examples include the increase in commercial flights between the two countries, or steps towards collaboration on larger issues. Officials from the United States express optimism that this meeting could improve the previously severed military communication between the two nations. However, they also believe that the restoration of genuinely functional military dialogue between these two global powers may take some time.
The European Union scientists have declared that 2023 is virtually certain to become the warmest year on record in the past 125,000 years. Jane Robles tells us why.
European Union scientists at the Copernicus Climate Change Service, or C3S, announced on Wednesday, November 8, that last month was the hottest October on record, surpassing the previous benchmark set in 2019 by a significant margin of 0.4 degrees Celsius. Samantha Burgess, the deputy director of C3S, described this temperature anomaly as very extreme. The rise in temperature is attributed to ongoing greenhouse gas emissions from human activity and the emergence of the El Niño weather pattern, contributing to the relentless warming of our planet. The consequences of climate change are not just data points, they're devastating realities. From the tragic floods in Libya, claiming thousands of lives, to severe heat waves scorching South America, and the unprecedented wildfires ravaging Canada, the impacts are being felt across the globe. Piers Forster, a climate scientist at the University of Leeds, emphasizes the urgency of the situation. Urgent action is needed, he says, to curb greenhouse gas emissions and prevent further warming from becoming the new normal. Despite countries setting ambitious targets to gradually reduce emissions, the stark reality remains: there has been no progress made. Global carbon dioxide emissions have hit a record high in 2022. Jane Robles, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. Our kasambahay. As the world faces these trying times amid various challenges and uncertainties, we are inviting everyone to join the global prayer for humanity.
Good day. I'm Brother Eli Soriano of the members of the Church of God International. I want to invite you to join us in a minute of prayer every day to pray for humanity and the whole world as we go through these perilous times. While safety measures like washing of hands and strengthening of our immune systems may help us through this horrible predicament, there is still no precaution or cure more powerful than God's mighty intervention. And we need His intervention now more than ever. It doesn't matter what religion you are in or what denomination you belong. This is an invitation for all the people around the world who cares for the future of their family, friends, loved ones, and humanity as a whole. Everybody is welcome to pray with us. For more details, you can check out the description box below. Thank you very much, and I hope to hear from you soon. May God bless you.
And before we close, we will leave you with the word giving glory to God. From the book of Psalms, chapter 101, verse 5 to 6. It says, "Whoso privily slandereth his neighbor, him will I cut off. Him that hath a high look and a proud heart will not I suffer. Mine eyes shall be upon the faithful of the land, that they may dwell with me. He that walketh in a perfect way, he shall serve me." And those are the reasons behind the news November 9, 2023. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I am Marvi Delfin, live from Australia.
And because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am Joselito Liquido, live from Malaysia. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Kahit kami rito, hindi kami magkakakilalang personal eh. Kahit yung mga PMers dito, nalalaman yung mga pangalan, pero personally, hindi namin kilala ang isa't isa. So mahirap kami mag-plot ng anything against the government. Lahat naka-open na suportahan na lang natin kung sino nakaupo. Because this is for the good of the country.
Ang goal namin is to have our own cybersecurity unit. Kaysa aasa lang kami sa DICT or sa anti-cybersecurity, we must have our own capability to ward off any of this hacking or any other cybersecurity crimes.
Nakikita natin na talagang may tendency magkawatak-watak o magiging divisive itong issue na ito. At dahil dito, ang naniniwala ang ating Vice Presidente na siya ay nanumpa na panatiliing mapayapa at matatag ang bansang Pilipinas. Kaya hindi na po niya ipursue ang proposal for confidential funds.
We'll try to revive that and to have another Senate bill siguro para sa yung half cup of rice. Kasi ang lagi din nilang sinasabi, mas maganda kung national yung law.
Create greater awareness about the need to avoid wastage on rice and only get what you want.
Kasama po yan, ma'am, sa iniimbestigahan po dahil I understand po yung mismong kinatitirikan po ng bahay po ng ating biktima na nandun din po yung kanyang doon din niya sinasagawa yung kanyang program sa sarili po niyang station ay nagkaroon po ng litigation yan at nagkaroon po ng kaso yan. Isa po yan sa tinitingnan natin, although we are not discounting other angles po regarding dito po sa kaso na ito.
Ito po ay 20,000 pesos na financial aid maaaring magagamit sa kanyang burial at funeral assistance. At nagpaabot din po tayo ng initial na educational assistance para po sa mga naulila ni Mr. Humalon. 2 bata po ito na maaaring makatanggap ng initially 5,000 pesos. And then maaari din po yung inclusion ng kanilang pamilya dun sa Sustainable Livelihood Program.
So it becomes a cycle now that pag mababa ang vaccination rate sa mga bata, tataas ang mga kaso, and this is now the result because of that low vaccination coverage that we have had for the past 2 to 3 years. So this is something that is expected, and hindi lang magiging measles ang pwedeng tataas, yung iba pang vaccine preventable diseases kagaya ng polio, pneumonia, including influenza or pertussis.